Good
Oh,
morning,
okay.
everybody. Got some links.
Morning.
That might be
Morning,
a
everybody.
thing.
Did you put links up, Chris?
Not yet. We just went live.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right.
Happy fucking Monday morning.
Well, there weren't any monetization chances. Not that we're gonna get fucking monetized anyway.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, you're fine, bud. I'm just giving you shit.
It's raining a little bit here, maybe. Yeah,
Well, it's supposed to rain here almost all damn day.
it must have rained.
Well, that has me pissed off because Mom made me change Katie's doctor's appointment from today because she wants to go do landscaping. Well, now they changed. Of course, at the last second, they changed the fucking
Weather.
weather, and now it's supposed to rain all damn day. And she said, "Well, I'm still going to work." I said, "That's good because if you didn't, I was going to be kind of pissed off at you."
Well, it is what it is.
Oh my God, you guys! Can't take my eyes off him for a second. I need X shit. Trying to remember where else I'm supposed to be getting links from. And these guys are over here fighting over damn chicken bones. All you hear is grrr. You swear they're dogs.
That's all right. They get bitchy too. Territorial over their food.
Yes, they do.
I do too. Damn it.
I saw.
It's like get your hands off my plate. This is mine.
I with a fork in their hand the one time. They were reaching for a cookie off my lunch tray in high school. I fucking stabbed them. Teacher said, "Why'd you do that for?" I said, "Why didn't I fucking do it?" I said, "You just gonna let somebody come up and take food off of your fucking plate?"
I used to ask Dave if he wanted lunch. No, I'm good for now. I'll grab something later. So I'd make me a plate of sandwich, chips, whatever,
Yeah.
And
You'd be
he'd
pecking
be
at
in
them.
there. Yeah, he'd be in there taking a bite of my sandwich, eating a chip. It's like,
So Dave
here,
was more
just
like a
take
woman.
this one. Oh, huh?
So Dave was kind of like a woman in that aspect.
Yeah, pretty much.
All my girlfriends used to do that shit. We're going out. I'm stopping to grab something while we're out. What do you want? I'm good for now. Blah blah blah. I'd order a second meal just because I know how it would end. Is you'd be sitting there going, "Well, can I just get a couple of your fries and a bite of your burger?" And I'm just like, "Nope.
Here,
Here's
no,
yours."
here's yours.
Good morning, Thomas. Welcome in, buddy. How you doing?
Hi,
Good morning,
Thomas.
Thomas.
So with the help of brainstorming with Mom
Oh
and
Lord.
Brian last
Oh
night,
Lord. Oh
actually
Lord.
came to a really good idea. So you know how the holder broke on the old stand, right?
Mhm.
So I
Oh.
have two stands that have broken holders on them. Can you be patient just a minute, honey? I know you're being really good, girl.
Did you break the new one?
No, not the brand new one, but
Okay.
I had two before that. Plus, I still have one in the house that has my ring light on it if I need it. But with these hooligans out here, I'm not bringing the ring light outside.
Right.
That'd be the death of the ring light. You've heard of death of a shoe salesman? No.
Okay, so squirrel, what'd you do?
So I talking to Mom and actually Katie's the one that brought it up to begin with. She looked at the bottom of the field glasses that Mom has, the night vision glasses,
Mhm.
and noticed that hey, there's a little screw hole here, right?
Right.
Thomas said duct tape.
Yeah.
Duct tape, rubber bands, whatever it takes.
But the piece that got broke screws off, and there's a screw that protrudes that I can actually use to mount these on, or to mount one of my security cameras onto.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're gonna get repurposed. Yay!
Well, there you go. Oh.
All right, let me go appease these little shitheads because they're starting to get on my nerves now. The only one behaving is Fluffy and Mom. Come on, guys. I'm not the only one on the deck, though. I'm not going to have a bunch of chicken bones all over the fucking deck. It already looks like I slaughtered and, massacred thousands of things out here.
Maybe I'll wear Dave's shirt today.
Speaking of Dave's, where the hell is Dave?
I don't know. Drinking coffee.
Yeah. Well, he has enough to drink. Mommy's like, I've been patient enough. Fuck you guys, it's mine. You're Fluffy. Boy, someone's gonna love this.
Damn Eddie. He came home yesterday morning and had fucking smells like diesel fuel all over him.
Really?
Yeah.
Where the hell's he been?
It's all over his back leg, but high up on his thigh.
Huh.
So he didn't step in it.
Was he rolling around in it?
I don't know, man, but it stinks like a motherfucker. I tried to clean it up a little bit, but he wouldn't let me clean him too good. So, yeah, I don't know what he got into.
I couldn't do that again if I wanted to. Do you
I
see
didn't
that
see.
wing hanging right there?
No, I'm not looking.
Nope, I can't see it.
Getting dressed.
I got a wing stuck on the damn tree branch.
A
And
wing?
it's hanging there. Yeah, a chicken
A
wing.
chicken wing?
That I threw out for the cats, and I was throwing it to the black cat that was just right here, and it's literally hanging on top of the tree branch.
They're doing some witchcraft. They're doing some witchcraft shit on you.
Right. Some voodoo shit.
They better not get the hell off, or I'll stop giving them shit. Hell, even Grandma came out for this. Grandma didn't come out for nothing. Grandma's Callie's mom.
Yeah, we got no grandmas around here. I nipped that in the bud.
You got one. You got me.
Yeah, but you don't show up at my door meowing.
No, you'd be in
not
trouble if
lately.
I did. Not lately, anyway. Oh, hell. All right. Much better. Maybe.
Oop.
Oh, light. More coffee.
There he is. There's my little troublemaker.
What?
Back trees, bud.
All right.
I gotta paint some butterflies today.
Do you?
I don't know nothing about painting those stinking butterflies.
Pull up images on Google.
Yeah, already did.
So, okay. Why are you painting fly butts now?
Butterflies. On my gnome here. That guy right there.
Nice.
I like him.
I need to buy one of them.
Gotta
and
paint
put
the-
down Lori absolutely hates gnomes.
Why?
She
I think
hates
they're
gnomes.
I
He
think they're
hates
cute.
gnomes. When we bought Romeo and Juliet when it came out, and she had lost her
Freaking
shit.
everybody wants gnomes.
Not her. She'll burn it.
Well, not her. Okay.
They're
Well, I'll
cute,
still sell her a gnome for the same price. She wants to burn it. That's on her.
right?
No, I said I was gonna buy one and send it to her. Here, baby.
$150 piece of firewood seems a little excessive to me. I don't know.
Right?
No, I agree. I'd have to try and get her not to burn it, but all right, they're all preoccupied out there. We are stealing the freaking grill tank and we're putting it on the fire pit because it is freaking chilly, but it's too to start an actual fire, and I want more. So
It's chilly over there.
it's going to rain all day.
My shop is only 62.
Yeah, it's
That
in the
means
60s here.
yeah, my shop's probably a little cooler than outside. I think. I don't know. In the wintertime, it sure as fuck gets colder in this box truck than it is outside.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The same with
Well,
summer. It gets hotter in here.
It basically acts like a refrigerator. It just that
Yeah.
insulation holds the cold in.
Well, it don't have no insulation. Just all fucking metal and some wood.
Huh.
But I'm glad I got it.
Must not be a refrigeration truck then.
No, just a box truck.
Gotcha.
What? 14 by something.
Nice.
My landlord brought it down here for me so I could put my KZ in it. And I turned it into a wood shop.
That's all right.
Yeah, he don't mind.
I bet you can still fit your KZ in there.
I could, but I would not. I wouldn't put it in here with all this dust.
True.
I got to find somewhere to keep it when we get it rebuilt here.
That's what they make covers for, man.
I have a cover. They used to sit on my porch under a cover. It sat on my porch now for 7 years. You know, gets covered when it's raining, and yeah. Thinking about selling it, but I wouldn't sell it for cheap. I'll tell you that.
What, the KZ?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. 1977, stock condition. That thing's worth bucks, man. When it's running, I could probably get 10 grand in the right places.
Wow.
If I'd sell it over in the UK, I could probably get closer to 15 grand for it. But then I'd have to ship it and all that, and I would have to put a factory exhaust on it. It has a 4-into-1 exhaust.
Right.
And you can't ship them modified. But I'm gonna hang on to it for a year or two. She's a head turner, man. All the old heads love my bike. Even the Harley guys.
Well, that's because they might have started out with something like that, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of them did. A lot of them did. I'll come out of a store. Hey, Mom.
Morning,
says
Mom.
hi and bye, everybody.
Bye, Mom. Have a safe day.
Yeah, amen.
Bye, Mom. Have a safe day.
I'll come out of a store and have an old guy standing there drooling over it. Pretty funny. Happened lots of times now. She's a pretty bike.
I wouldn't mind getting something just to, play around out here. Nothing I'd need to take on the streets or anything, but yeah, that definitely doesn't fit that bill.
got some really nice scooters now.
Morning, Jay. Jay hopped in.
Morning, Jay.
Good morning, Jay. I don't even know what my other phone is. What's happening, Jay?
On back, so I can't see.
Thomas says, love old bikes, no BS and good looking.
Yep.
Oh, Thomas said people are putting small gnome doors on trees in the parks here. That's kind of cool, Thomas.
Yeah.
It's a cute way to mess with kids, carry on with the kids, you know. Kids are like, there's a Smurf that lives there. No, it's a fucking gnome, you idiot.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be left around kids, just so you know.
Okay. Bad influence on you.
I tend to make them say funny things that their parents don't find funny.
Yeah, me too.
Let me see. Yeah,
That's why I don't. That's why I don't go to Freedom Biker Church as much anymore.
Oh yeah,
Too many kids.
that's weird.
Get me around bikers, and I'm a cussing motherfucker, man. Then I'm like, oh shit, there are little kids standing there.
Right?
But none of the parents ever say nothing. I mean, they're all biker type people, so them kids probably are well familiar with that kind of language.
Oh,
Yeah,
probably
they're well
so.
versed.
Especially when they do something wrong.
Good morning, Dave. Dave Pop just got in, so here.
Morning, Dave.
Morning,
What is
Dave.
going on, buddy? I'm changing the gas tank, and we're gonna get a fire going. If I can bend over that far, we're gonna try. I may end up on my head. If so, I'll just do the rest of the show from there.
That's okay. Do
I
it
can't
laying
see
down.
the chat.
It's all right. I can't either. I'm outside.
But Jay, you ought to smell this stuff I got this weekend.
Uh-oh.
Smelled like perfume, man. Good perfume.
Obsession.
Huh?
Obsession.
And you know, it smells better than that, probably. Let's just put it this way. It's pungent.
Oh! I got a fucking surprise for you guys.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
You're in trouble now.
Uh-oh.
Hold on to my beer. Coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Ah, shit. Hold on.
Damn it.
Please hold. We ask that you bear with us in this time.
Do, 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 do,
Welcome to
do.
This is
Yeah.
Fuck Up. Come back to
They
haunt
play
me.
some of the most annoying damn tunes you can find.
Right.
Uh,
I think when they place you on hold, they should give you an option of genres of music. Press 1
Yeah.
for rock, press 2 for easy listening, press 3
Yeah.
for elevator.
Yeah.
Yep, they should.
Okay, it's done, bud.
And don't forget the star button for just shut the fuck up and give me a representative.
Yep, right.
Just give me a beep. I'd rather hear a beep than this shit.
Yeah. But it's even more annoying when it's nothing. And you're like, hello? Hello? Anybody there?
I hang up. If I don't hear from somebody within 5 minutes, I hang up.
Yeah, I'll give them a couple of cigarettes. That's about it.
After that, obviously the call wasn't that fucking important to you. If you had me on hold for that long.
Yeah, you can't always use that theory though in this day and age.
No.
Sometimes them phone calls are important.
Well, it's not.
That's why they like dicking you around.
It's not important enough for me to sit there and waste 15, 20 minutes waiting.
True story.
They can call me the fuck back. If not, well, then send me a letter.
Yeah, I like when they give you the option to have them call you back.
Thomas says my youngest boy is a pipe fitter, and damn, can he cuss?
Yeah.
So you're saying he would fit in with those Navy guys, Thomas? I heard.
Fluent sailor and truck driver,
Yeah, I heard that the sailors are the
boilermaker.
cussers of the armed. I heard the sailors are the cussers of the armed forces. There.
Yeah. Drunken sailors.
Oh God, I'm up. Whew.
I used to hang around with this girl. She had a real raspy voice. She was short, round, and pretty unattractive. But she had a mouth like a drunken sailor, man. You couldn't take her anywhere. Like,
Yeah, somebody
respectable.
a woman could be the most respectable looking, hottest thing in the world, and just because of their fucking attitude can ruin it all. Their attitude
Oh, absolutely.
can negate all of it. I've dated a couple of them girls, and I'm just like, you know what? After you get to know them a little bit, you're like, fuck this. I don't need this shit.
Yeah. I was at a bar in Virginia one time. There was about 20 riders. And this barmaid at this bar we stopped at was so freaking hot, dude. Even the women in our group were making comments about how hot she was. Well, then their electric went out. I bought my drink and my friend Cheyenne's drink, and it was like $17. And she went to use a register, and it was dead. And she said, hold on, I got to go get my phone so I can figure out how much change you get. I'm like, it's like $3. Like, I got a 6th grade education and popped that right off my head in 2 seconds. And this girl was hot, and she needed a calculator. I was like, wow. She lost her standing really quick. Is that Fred?
No,
it is Cal.
Oh, sorry, Cal.
Hi, bud. How are you?
I didn't think I looked like Fred.
To join you guys. I'm still trying to figure out.
I wasn't expecting
the opposite direction from what I'm used to.
I was not expecting this to happen until tomorrow, so he even surprised me this morning.
Greetings, everybody.
It's about time we see that smiling face.
No, go.
I want to give a shout out to my friend Jay. This is a surprise I was talking about today, buddy. I'm glad you could make it even for a few minutes. I know you got to get the kids up and off to school. Mike, good to see you on camera and join you on camera. Cora, it is very nice to join you on camera. And I did get a camera just specifically for this. Chris finally talked me into it. This is all his fault.
Everything's my fault. It's okay.
Sorry.
Dave said I had a piece of wire stick me under my fingernail while working on a Durango this weekend. He learned a new cuss word. He said that shit hurt. I'm sure it did.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, but I woke up and I rolled out of bed and I was like, you know what? I got the camera. I wonder if he's going to be on this morning. I'm going to go surprise him. I'm going to go surprise everybody. I told you guys before that once I figure things out with what's going on in my life, I was going to get more involved in things. Well, things are starting to work themselves out. I find out today whether or not my in-laws, the ones that stole my truck, are actually still in the state or whether they have decided to flee justice. I'm just going to take a walk down. It's going to be a beautiful 71 degrees here in northeast Oklahoma today with a few showers possible. So I'll just walk down there. It's not too far, but it's far enough. You don't want to walk it when it's like 100 degrees. And see if there's a stack of packages up on the porch. And if there is, then I know, of course, that either my mother-in-law is dead or my sister-in-law has taken her and fled the state because that is her cash cow, her goose that lays the golden eggs.
Oh.
So You know, she takes money from her mom. You know, she basically robs that poor woman blind. And you know what they say, when you love your kid, you ignore a lot of bad shit that they do. She refuses to accept the fact that her other daughter decided to steal my truck. And I've got the police report and everything. That's what she did. And she also tried to defraud me because I had a folder full of financial information in the truck because I was going to go to the bank the next day. And I just thought, hey, you know what? I'll just stick it in the car. So it's one less thing I forget in the morning.
Right.
Lo and behold, that was the day they decided to steal the truck. I mean, if they had stolen it 24 hours later, that folder wouldn't have been in there. But I had everything in there, you know, all the estate stuff for my mom, you know, bank records, shit like that. Just it was a whole mess. So, but you know,
I'll be right back.
Local police, to their credit, were able to track all that down. They were able to arrest her. She has not been tried yet, so she's still technically an alleged thief. But there was so much evidence pointing to it. I mean, they've got her dead bang. And she's already on parole. This woman is a career criminal. She does financial crimes. She loves to do financial crimes. Playing with money, you know, that's her thing. She runs bad checks, mostly. I mean, she's done a few other things before. But so she tried to, once she got a hold of my financial information, there were a couple of bank checks in there, you know, the single sheet checks that they give you for, you know, until while your account's being open until you can get your card, just so you have some way to write out for bills and whatever. But there were two of them in there, in that folder. And she was able to use those. One of them she tried to use at a local rent-owned place. And she forged my signature poorly, but she forged my signature. And, you know, they had a witness that said that she handed that check over. And I signed an affidavit saying I never gave her such a check. So, yeah, they got her dead to rights. And they did arrest her, but she bonded out. She bailed out like immediately. Because this woman is very good at manipulating people, and she manipulated the neighbors into thinking she's an actual decent human being. I see that bacon, Cora.
Do you?
Bacon.
It's that time.
So, but that's pretty much the full story. Is that last time they had gotten arrested? The thing is, though, is that I pay my mother-in-law's internet because the house that she's been living in, I own it, and I was letting her stay there. I was going to give her the place until all this shit happened. You know, just out of the kindness of my heart. Hey, thank you for being the mother to my wife, my deceased wife. She's been gone 2 years now. You know, and thank you for helping to basically take care of me, teach me so much. And she was a good mother for the 20 years that I had her, mother-in-law. So I was just going to give her the house, and she was going to try and maybe get a loan off of the house and give me some money out of that. But you know, that was informal. There was no solid agreement, nothing on paper. And then, of course, her other daughter, decided to be a shit, steal from me, and all that sort of thing. And I'm pretty sure that when she sold the truck, she only sold it for about not even $1,000 because that's just her. You know, she never really plays along. That thing was worth at least $8,000 to a used car dealer minimum.
She a crackhead or what?
Former meth head, actually.
Oh shit! Just as bad.
She hasn't done drugs in about 12 years. I want to say a little more.
That's good.
But that hasn't stopped her. It hasn't stopped her lust for crime. You know, she's been. She did a lot of crimes when she was in California, and I am pretty sure that it's exactly what she did is that once she got arrested, she's like, you know what? I'm already thinking of leaving because I've milked my brother-in-law dry and completely disrespected the memory of my sister. So, you know, let's just put the final nail in the coffin and be a fugitive from justice. Because, you know, honestly, if she makes it back to California, they ain't gonna do shit. I mean, everybody's like, oh,
No.
they're gonna get her, you know, they're gonna arrest her and bring her back. No, they're not. No, they're not. It's fucking California. This is not a major crime. It's not a murder. It's not a pee-pee toucher, you know.
Right.
And to her credit, she was never either of those. So, you know, she's a certain class of criminal. Professionals have standards, as we say in the video game culture. And she does have standards. You know, there's certain crimes that she simply won't do. And that was among them. So, but if she
A
runs
crook that has morals.
some morals, not enough morals not to rob your own family, but you know, and treat your own mother like shit. But whatever. I mean, if she makes it back to California, yeah, she's got it made. Mind you, she won't get anything else out of me, but
Cora Day
darn
says
you,
that
Mike, you lit up, and now I wanted to smoke.
What's that?
I said, darn you, Mike, you lit up, and now I wanted to smoke.
I'm a smoke.
Peer
I smoke like a Navajo in trouble.
Me
You
too.
sending smoke signals.
I
Not
smoke
good.
a pipe. I smoke a pipe though, and I love these. I got 4 of them. This is one of the ones that my late wife Jennifer gave me. It's not too expensive. I think it was like $60, maybe a little.
Ain't smelt one of. Haven't smelt one of them since my grandpa passed away.
What's that?
Well, you won't smell that from me. I smoke the cheapest shit I can get my hands on.
I don't know what grade my grandfather smoked. I was too young back then.
Oh, the stuff that they smoked back then was all flavored and had a nice essence to it. This is basically cigarette tobacco that hasn't passed through the final stage of processing, which is exactly why I smoke it. It's exactly why I smoke it. I inhale. I don't puff. That's the big difference.
You don't want all them chemicals from that final treatment getting into your system.
Yeah.
Still, we used to
Because
use this same
They
tobacco
add-
to roll cigarettes
Most people
with.
don't realize how many chemicals they add.
Yeah. So
What is
I mean,
going
I've got
on with my internet
another
today?
one right here on my desk. I keep 2 by my bed in case I want to have a smoke in the middle of the night, which often happens because I have PTSD and I have nightmares. So I will wake up and I will have a smoke and I will go back to bed, like literally just roll right over and go back to sleep. PTSD.
That's what I used to do.
PTSD is so much fun. So much fun. Mind you, I didn't get mine from service. I got mine from my uncle. He was just a little bit too friendly, if you understand.
Got
He's
you.
dead now too. He's dead now too. He got his. He spent 10 years on freaking kidney dialysis on and off. And he was in basically hospice care, one of the worst hospices in Utah, as I found out. And he's buried out there somewhere. Mind you, the person that buried him was an old friend of his. I should say lover, gay lover. He was homosexual. Not that part of things bothered me. It was the other part that he liked little boys. And when I told his friend about this, he's like, well, I wish I'd known that sooner before I paid for all this. I'm like, yeah, if you'd known that sooner, I would have asked you to give him an unceremonious chuck in the gutter with his ashes, because it's not where he belongs. And of course, he agreed with me. But that's why I have PTSD. I wake up in the middle of the night, and I don't scream or anything. I just wake up, and I'm like,
what the fuck?
Die. Something around me gonna die.
I got like a PTSD from having seizures.
Oh well, there you go.
I had my worst seizure. I've had them driving cars, driving a pickup, but the worst one, I had a seizure. I came out of the seizure. I walked about 7 blocks through York City, and all of a sudden, I was in front of a courthouse. And I woke up and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here? And it was pretty crazy because I don't know if I walked on the road, on the sidewalk. I walked through some pretty bad areas. where a white person wouldn't have been welcome. So it was, them seizures mess you up, man.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine. Oh, this is something that Cora's seen. I don't know if you've seen it. My glorious coffee cup that holds a full freaking pot of coffee.
Damn.
Oh, fuck yeah. Hell yeah.
I think I showed this off on He Who Shall Not Be Named's Discord.
Yeah, I got them. My brother brought me a big mug like that. It's cobalt, but it'll hold a pot. I use it for a silver jar. Change.
All right, Jay. I see you got to leave. Thanks for joining us, buddy.
Bye, Jay.
Jay.
Have a good day,
Here's
hon.
your surprise, bud. Yeah. I honestly didn't think the camera would get delivered in time. It actually got here Saturday afternoon. So I was hoping, I was just waiting for Chris to do a show on Sunday, but he never did. He's not going to do a show every single day of the week. But I was constantly waiting. I was just like, is he going to do it? Is he going to do it? Is he on yet? Is he on yet? No. But I was waiting. So when I rolled out of bed this morning, I'm like, shit, I'm running late. I better get on camera before everybody leaves. And I was hoping Jay could make it, and I'm glad that he did. Is Jay and I, we are, I'd say we're pretty close friends. We're both parents, and him and I have talked at length about quite a few subjects, and we're both computer guys. So we both like talking about computers. And besides, well, now me guys telling you guys right now is the only other person that knew all the details about my sister-in-law's shenanigans. Oh, Cora, I love that shirt. I love that shirt.
Awesome.
Oh.
Dave's got one just like it.
I had a wild thought last night. Y'all know that P. Diddy got arrested.
Right.
I always found it interesting that Sean Combs was picked by the powers that be. I don't even know who it exactly was. Take your pick. There's like 5 or 6 different groups running around in the background that we can't exactly see or put labels to. But I always found it interesting that they made him one of their pimps. And he had cameras everywhere. Everybody knows that. Cat Williams has been trying to warn us about this guy for freaking years. And now that he's been arrested, I'm wondering why. If he's supposed to have all this juice, how in the world did he end up getting arrested? And if he got arrested, what does that exactly mean? Because there's a lot of Hollywood people that are like scrubbing their Twitters and they're jumping everywhere, trying to avoid federal indictments. Word on the street, this is a whole bunch of them are trying to drop dime on each other. It's literally a race to stab each other in the back first. So
like a rat race.
Is that a ploy for like, oh, look what we found over here. Don't pay attention over here, but look over here.
Yeah.
I'm wondering
100%.
if it's either that. I mean, but they could also use this because of certain people who were supposedly part of this, like the current Democratic nominee for president that hasn't earned a single vote from anybody. Supposedly she was there. Supposedly she partook in some of these parties. Could they not use this as a way to get rid of Cackles and give us Comrade Tim in replacement? I mean, honestly, that would probably be one of their smarter moves, is to get rid of Cackles and give us Comrade Tim instead, because he's non-offensive. He looks like everybody's creepy uncle, but he does have that certain homey quality to him. Everybody knows he's a left-wing nut job, but he packages it in, I'll take your kids out for a fishing trip, let them drink beer when they're underage. It's kind of some of the same things that got Clinton elected in the first place, but wrapped up in a more uncle package. Instead of the cool uncle, he's the permissive uncle. But he's got that vibe to him. He doesn't have the raw attractiveness that, say, Gavin Newsom does. Because there are a lot of women who see Gavin Newsom, cut that fine figure with his slick back hair and his nice suits and all that, and they're basically dropping their undergarments at the sight of him. Especially some older ladies, and those with daddy issues. That's what
Really?
they seem to look at Gavin Newsom. So he's got Clinton's charisma, this visual charisma, whereas Waltz has more of Clinton's, I guess you could say, comfortableness. He doesn't come off as a complete idiot like Kamala does. So they could easily use the Diddy situation to be like, oh, well, surprise, surprise, by all shock and awe, it seems that Kamala Harris is a part of this. Well, we can't have a vice presidential person or a presidential nominee being involved in this sort of thing. Well, we're going to have to arrest her too. Gosh darn it. Well, it looks like you're going to have to vote for Tim Waltz on the pre-established Harris-Waltz ticket. And then, Tim Waltz can announce that he wants Gavin Newsom to be his vice president, even though he can't change the ticket this late in the game. He announces Gavin Newsom's going to be his VP. That's going to be his day one job, is to get Gavin Newsom in, and considering what Speaker Little Johnson has not been doing for us lately, that could be just the perfect excuse to bump the polls and make everything look hunky-dory. And then, of course, they're going to, let's just say the voting won't be as honest as we all want it to be. That there will be some irregularities. And by some strange mystery, everybody's favorite candidate, the true favorite candidate, loses by just a couple of percentage points. He doesn't get quite 100 million votes. And then, Tim Waltz with the promise of Gavin Newsom and severely shaming Kamala Harris for being part of the degenerate parties and stuff. He manages to just bump himself up just a little bit. He looks good. And all of a sudden we end up with Comrade Tim as our president and Gavin Newsom as our VP, which would put Nancy Pelosi's nephew in the number 2 spot in the United States.
But what happened to the democracy of people voting is what I want. They're screaming that Trump will take away our democracy. Well, what the fuck?
Have a great day, Jay. Be safe and tell your kids we said hi and have a great day at school.
Well, I'll never trust Tim Walz because Kamala picked him.
Oh,
but, that he's an ass clown.
There's allegations about Tim Walz. I won't go into them here because they are about as unsubstantiated as you can get. And I don't want some operative to be watching this and be like, nope, shut him down. He said a thing. But let's just say that when he was a teacher, he was a teacher, and look at what he did while he was a teacher.
Yeah.
Look at the things he did.
I didn't hear any of the stories about his teachers shit.
Well, supposedly, if it's true, I'm not saying it is. If it's true, irregularities occurred while he was a teacher. With, all I'm going to say is that he was a teacher. It's all alleged, and we don't have a smoking gun. We don't have proof.
You mean kind of like what you hear about in college, where somebody needs their grade bumped up, and all of a sudden it gets bumped up after they spend a little bit of time in the office with them?
Yeah.
You're breaking up a bit, Chris. I didn't quite catch all that.
Oh,
which has been going on for years.
Good morning,
yeah,
Lori.
That's better, Chris.
Morning, Lori. You mean it's kind of like in the college when, a girl needs a better grade? So she goes in to the office for about 5-10 minutes and comes out and automatically her grade jumps up?
Yeah, extra credit. Extra credit.
Oh, shit.
So, but like I said, these are just the barest of allegations because, of course, anybody who would actually be able to tell the story, nobody's going to give them any traction. There isn't a reporter out there that wants to keep their job as a propagandist who is going to give that kind of a story any traction at all. Just because, they value their lives and they value their livelihood. Say what you will about how far the noble profession of being a reporter has fallen in the last 60 years, but it is what it is. So, but Tim is we all know that even the surface level stuff that we know for sure about him, that, he took a lot of trips to China, that he was very praising of Mao Zedong, all that sort of thing. You know, that is enough for any honest American that wants their country to succeed to be like, yeah, no, we're not going to vote for this jerk. You know, the
Well, you would
stuff
have thought that about Biden too, though, bud.
Well, yeah, Biden is just a straight out criminal. He's not what you call a true believer in the scripture of the Democratic Party as it has become. Tim Walz is, and not only that, but he's the kind of guy who would like to write a few chapters of that scripture himself. Harris doesn't really give a shit either.
Biden's a believer who can put the most money in his pocket.
Yeah. And Harris is more, she just wants to be important. You know, she's not really interested in running the country. She's just interested in looking important and looking nice for the cameras and being worshipped. That's her thing. Tim Walz, he's dangerous because he doesn't really care so much about being worshipped. He cares more about taking his agenda and making it into action. You know, he really wants to do these things. That's why he has been doing what he has been doing. That's why he has done the stuff that he has done in the past. So that's why Walz is more dangerous than Harris. I mean, if that duo gets into office, Harris is basically going to be a lump, just like Joe Biden was. She ain't going to be doing anything. Walz is going to be the one running the show, and he's going to be pushing for every possible left-wing metric that he possibly can. And the feckless cowards that we have in Congress that are supposed to be on our side. Well, hello,
Yeah.
Andrea. It's me, Cal. I told you one day I would be on camera, and here I am.
We're just talking about some politics at the moment, Lori.
Yeah. But, you know, the feckless cowards that we've got in Congress that are supposed to be on our side, they're just going to roll over and let it happen. I mean, say what you want about how compromised they might be or whatever. It's probably true, but, you know, we can't exactly prove it. They're just going to let it happen because they want to keep their paychecks rolling. That's their primary. That's their primary motivation.
Here's their mistake in thinking that, right? Because you know that as soon as if Walz does get to push his agenda, the cleansing that's going to come is going to take part in Congress too, and they're going to take out anybody that's a Republican or anybody that's in opposition of them. So for them to vote along with to just let it go is stupidity on their part as well. But like you said, they're just more worried about that paycheck than their well-being.
Exactly.
Makes absolutely 0 sense. Fluffy, I love you too, buddy, but can you leave the camera straight up and down? They don't want to lay on the ground.
But yeah, that's one path forward that they could take with the Diddy situation. If it's not just, you know, kabuki theater and they're just doing this to provide a distraction. They very well could be. That could be their only goal.
Here's
and
what
if it is,
telling
it's not really working.
This is what I've been telling people, okay? Because I've had people ask me about this situation. And I said, think about this. I said, the government sat on that fucking video of him beating the shit out of that girl in the hallway of a hotel for 20 fucking years. Just to bring it out now to use him as a downfall for somebody else so that they can try and first part is distract. That's the big thing. And secondly, it is to cause discontent and fear among the rank and file in their own party, because now, oh shit, have I ever been to a Diddy party? Have I ever done something that they can now use against me if Diddy opens his mouth? So it's a power play within their own party as well to say, you know what, shut the fuck up and do what we tell you, or we've got this on you.
Yeah.
Dave said you're making
made me hungry, Dave. You're making bacon over there.
I threw the catch chicken bones already.
I will say this though, Cora.
What's that?
now that this whole situation is coming to a close and things are progressing, you may see me at your front door sooner than you think.
Oh,
Oh,
just come
shit.
to the side. Just come to the side door through the garage.
You got it.
Good morning, Jamie.
Expect the knock, and now you know what face to look for, so you won't be like, there
Morning,
is a
Jamie.
strange young man standing at my door. Why is there a strange young man standing at my door?
Right?
Now
Who is
now
this guy and what the hell does he want?
Now
Jamie,
you'll know
it's
not
me,
to pull a
Cal.
gun on him.
Hi. Now you got to see my face. Now you got to see my hideous face. Ooh.
I was watching a thing this morning where a guy went down in Philadelphia and was talking to people in Philadelphia. And the people who actually were talking policy and actually you could tell that they had looked up what they were talking about were all taking and voting for Trump. The ones who were just going off of the news talking points, they were just spewing the same shit that the news tells them to and that the politicians tell them to. Of course, they're going for Kamala and Walz, right? And it said that had Philadelphia not voted in the 2020 election, just right, one city, Philadelphia, Trump would have won the state of Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, short of the cheating that we can actually now prove occurred, so it shouldn't be too taboo to speak of the cheating. There were still a significant number of people that were just not open to realizing what benefit Trump was really giving their wallets. Now that they've had 4 years of pain and suffering, they now see, at least the ones that are willing to look at policy over feels, they're starting to agree with Trump. I just watched part of a video last night. I didn't get through all of it because I was too tired. About a African American gentleman who was talking about when I stopped thinking Trump was racist and started looking at it. The video's available on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah.
But if you have a look for it, that is the sort of awakening moment that a lot of former Democrats have had, when they realize, hey, you know what? Trump isn't the guy that we thought he was. He's not racist. He's not against women. It's a whole pack of lies that we have been fed for all these years. And when I look at his policies, okay, maybe he's a little unhinged. Maybe he comes out of pocket a little too fast. But him being in office means that groceries don't cost $300. Gas isn't, $7, $8, $9 a gallon. And my rent hasn't gone up 25% or whatever. So, they're looking at that and they're realizing, you know what, maybe we were wrong. And I'm very glad to see that a lot of these people are finally admitting that to themselves, because that could be the hardest. The absolute hardest part is to admit to yourself that you were wrong about somebody or something.
Right.
And when you finally come to that conclusion that you have misjudged someone or something so severely that the foundation of your very social structure is just absolutely destroyed, that could be a real awakening moment. For some people, it's just too much. They just can't get past it. So they double down on the hatred because that's all they've got. Because if they stop and realize that they were wrong, then they have to admit they were wrong. They have to admit that they're less than perfect. And like I said, for some people, they just can't do that. They'll never be able to do that. They'll never be able to get past that. But the ones that do, the ones that are willing to realize, I was wrong. They're the ones that they could tip the scales. Maybe not by much, but maybe it'll be just enough. Because we all know that if they cheated last time, they're not just going to cross their hearts and say, "I'll be good. We won't do it this time. I promise." We know that's a bunch of malarkey. To use Biden's former campaign slogan against him. That's a lot of malarkey. They're going to try anyway. They're going to try again. And when they do, we literally have to vote so hard that we can overcome the cheat in certain areas. Now, we've had some good victories in that department between Pennsylvania and Georgia. Those are the two most key places. And I'm glad to see that people aligned with Trump are pushing so hard in those areas to try and square up the vote. You know,
Did you hear about Michigan?
Last I heard, and mind you, my information is not quite fresh because I had not had a chance to look at the news this morning. I literally rolled out of bed and got the camera in my face. Last I heard out of Michigan is that their very crazy Secretary of State has basically shut down any chance of questioning the votes. So what information do you have there, Chris?
One of the mayors of one of the Muslim majority cities.
Yes. Mayor of Hamtramck.
Yes, has given his blessing to Trump, his endorsement. Which is a big deal, and it's based off of his belief that Trump will end the whole Middle East thing again.
Yep, and Trump is the one who could possibly do it. That's the big thing, is if Trump can bring peace to the Middle East, you know, J.D. Vance is now the heir apparent for the MAGA movement. And I know there were a lot of people, myself included, that had a lot of doubts about this guy right up until today. And, you know, I've still got doubts of Vivek Ramaswamy. I will always have doubts about him, no matter what he says, until he actually does things that are truly against the whatever organization you want to put a finger on. Until he actually takes physical action, I will always have my doubts about him. I've had doubts about Vance. Now, both of them are talking a very good game. Hopefully, Vance doesn't turn out to be Pence 2.0, and, you know, he stabs us. They can't exactly stab Trump in the back at this point, because this is Trump's second term, and we only allow presidents to have 2 terms now. So it's not like he can sabotage Trump's efforts to get reelected. About the worst he can do now is just tie up all of Trump's attempted legislation. But even then, Trump, he's gotten a little smarter about things. So he's going to be doing an end run around Congress about as much as Biden. He's got Bobby Jr. In his corner, and they're going to be going things through the administrative side. He's going to be hopefully getting Elon Musk to do the same thing, making the GOAT, Government Office of Accountability. You know, so he's going to be going through things not just through legislation, but through executive action. You know, and the gloves are coming off. Before, Trump was trying to do things supposedly the right way, the way that we all learned when we were kids, with those wonderful cartoons. You know, what makes a bill, all that sort of thing. You know, he was trying to do
bill down on Capitol
Hill. He was trying to do things that way, and you know, to his credit, he thought the system still worked that way, or at least it could be made to work that way if he could just, you know, come on, I want to work out a deal. You know, you and I, we can work out a deal. I'm really good at working out deals. I make the best deals. Trust me. He thought he could do that, and it didn't work because he didn't realize just what kind of a pit of vipers he was really dealing with. He even admitted, like a month or so ago, that he may have made some poor choices because he was relying on DC insiders that he thought were on his side to help him pick certain people. That's why he ended up picking Pence as his vice president over somebody that talked basically like him, but more severe.
Pompeo ended up being a disappointment.
Yeah, and Milley. The stuff that's come out about Milley. General Milley. We could possibly get treason charges on Milley for what he did, for refusing a lawful order from the president, and, you know, setting things up to possibly take a nosedive the way they did. I don't think it's going to happen. You know, I don't think we're going to have the military tribunals that certain people on the MAGA movement have been pushing for. But what we could have instead is a parade of name and shame. You know, make these people so toxic that nobody wants to deal with them. That's more what I'm hoping for, because I know politics well enough, having been raised in Chicago. I know politics well enough that sometimes that's all the justice you're going to get, but sometimes that's enough. If you can make these people so toxic that they have to live off of the residuals of their speeches and their political views and an occasional interview with CNN, and maybe they become, some channel's expert at something, and they get interviewed about certain subjects. They make a pittance compared to what they were making. They still make money. So, they're going to have that nice little comfortable cushion to sit back on at the end of the day. But at the same time, their face isn't in the cameras anymore in a positive aspect. Every time they get brought up, half the people in the room are laughing at them, and the other half are just like, why is this person even here? Sometimes that's the only justice you can get, and honestly, we're going to have to be satisfied with that with a lot of these people. But for the ones that we can get for something more severe, I am hoping that we do get some prison sentences out of it. Just don't expect that, and just be happy with what punishment we can give them. Thomas is right from about 10 minutes ago. What he said about Minnesota, he probably won some other states too. I swear to God, he won Connecticut, and maybe a couple of other states. So.
Thomas said Miller can still be court-martialed.
Yeah, he could, but deals happen. Deals happen all the time. If Billy gives up some people in the background that can be quietly disposed of, yeah, he's not gonna face a military tribunal. He's not gonna go before a court-martial or anything.
Well,
and that's all part of the game.
My biggest problem with Milley is when he admitted that he called China and told them that if Trump decided to do something, he would call them personally and tip them off.
Yeah, see, that right there should have been treason and sedition charges. He should have been swinging on a rope, 2 days into Biden's regime. But of course, that won't happen, But, with a lot of these people, they are a face. A lot of people don't realize that the people that we see, they are a face to a very large and insidious organization that has infiltrated itself into all levels of bureaucracy over the last several decades. So
you said my favorite word.
Bureaucracy?
Yes, that would be if Trump went in and made a fucking executive order saying I hereby ban all bureaucracy, all offices have to be voted on from here on out, that would make me the happiest person in the fucking world.
There's certain things that he can and can't do to take down the bureaucratic state in one term. He's only got 4 years to work, and some of this stuff is, we take a shot and then we see where it lands. So there's only certain things that he can do. But one of the big things that he can do is start knocking down the visual pegs, the pegs that we can see. And maybe behind them are the ones that we can't see. See, the danger to those people being behind the scenes, yes, they can get away with doing a lot of things, but at the same time, if they get taken out, if they get removed, fired or self removal from census.
Oh, you mean tied to a tree and shooting yourself in the head 3 times?
Something like that.
Yeah.
If that happens to them, nobody's going to bat an eye. Yes, they may be movers and shakers. Yes, they may be the ones that actually get shit done. But because we can't see them, that also means that if something happens and they vanish, nobody is going to know. And those are the ones that we really need to go after. Yes, it would be nice to hang Milley's head proverbially on our collective mantelpiece and say we hunted ourselves a big white rhino. And I mean that as RINO. But at the same time, all the little minions that are underneath him or answer to him or work with him, they are the much more valuable target. As far as hunters go, they are the ones that bear the meat and fur. They are the ones that we need to remove. And if we can hollow out the base of support that a lot of these people are depending on by taking out the people that we can't see, then we're going to get a lot more progress done than if we just knock down the face pieces.
Yeah, I took in I just had a thought in there. It said, fuck you, I'm out.
Squirrel.
Good.
Let me think here for a second.
Yeah, I heard about Milley basically subverting Trump. And honestly, Trump should have done something about that. I believe he knew to some extent that Milley was screwing around in the background. But at that point, he was so distracted with everything else, he really couldn't do anything about it.
Come on, Junior.
It would have looked bad. If Trump had really pushed it in 2020, he could have forced a major confrontation, a real showdown between real Americans and those that are the unelected bureaucracy. He could have forced it, but he chose not to because he, like Nixon, didn't want to destroy the country or rip it apart in the process of trying to save it. And now we know so much about what happened with poor Richard Nixon. We know that he was basically innocent, and he took the fall for people that were the real perpetrators of things. Partly because he had to, and partly because he did it so that he could avoid ripping the country apart in the process of saving it. He didn't want to do that. So, props to Richard Nixon. He was a Trump of his day, not the Trump of his day, but he was a Trump of his day in that he really loved this country. And he loved it so much that he absolutely refused to undergo, congressional investigation, have his day in court, and really push hard to expose who was really behind the things that he was accused of, things that he was ultimately accused of. And answering for the few seconds of tape that were silent and all that sort of thing. He could have exercised executive privilege and said, those few seconds of tape, I was talking about top secret nuclear plants or some shit. And he could have gotten away with it because, who's going to question him? Even if, somebody comes out and says, well, I was the one in the room that he was talking to. He didn't say anything about nuclear secrets. It would be the word of the president of the United States against some schmo. So, that would have played out pretty well in the media. It would have been an absolute debacle. And Nixon, for his to his credit, he was right about one thing. It would have torn the country apart at that time. But Nixon could have possibly gotten the country behind him and gotten them to agree, hey, yeah, you know what? This is a crock. This is an absolute crock, and I am being set up. When he said he was not a crook, he meant it, and he was right. And the very fact that Nixon's name has been dragged through the mud by Hollywood ever since then should tell you who was right in that situation and who wasn't. It's awful funny that Congress, I shouldn't say Congress, but Hollywood drags the names of certain people through the mud and not others. There have been some politicians that have been accused of doing some naughty things. And they've been thrown out of office for it. They get maybe a couple of jokes from a stand-up comedian. They don't get outright mocked like Richard Nixon was. He was mocked on Futurama. He was turned into a villain. Hollywood has a way of mocking just one side of the political spectrum. So
if you try and lampoon both sides, you get labeled as a right-wing conspiracy theorist.
Yeah. And we know our government has been doing, or I shouldn't say our government, but the unelected bureaucracy within our government has been working against our best interests and for their interests for a very long time. This is
too long.
All the proof that's come out just in the last few years since Trump got tossed out of office. We've the receipts are there. We finally have the receipts. That's, of all the things that Trump has done, that is probably the most valuable, is that he's woken up the people in this country that were on the middle, on the fence, sometimes Republicans, sometimes Democrats, into realizing the unelected bureaucracy backed by the Democrats and a lot of rhinos. They've been the ones screwing them over. It's not the causes that they think it was. It has been the enemy has been in their face this entire time. We have met the enemy and he is us, or he was the one who we thought that we trusted. And now that we know that we can't, maybe my voting should change. Maybe I ought to, pay closer attention to who I'm electing instead of just seeing an R or a D next to their name and voting that way, no matter who it is.
It's funny you say that, because have you ever heard of the walk away thing?
What's that, Chris?
Have you ever heard of Walkaway?
Yes.
Okay. Because you can ask Cora. I actually just brought this up this morning when we were talking before the show. And I posted Brendan's original Walkaway video on Discord. But I've been watching a lot of those videos the last couple of days to see the transformation in a lot of how these people, first off, how they were treated by their fellow Democrats and leftists just because they disagreed with them on one fucking little issue.
Yeah.
And they completely would eviscerate them over it. And yeah, the more we can share those videos out, so more people can see them. I'm going to start sharing them again. I did share a lot of them back in 2020, but there's a lot more since then too now that I want to get out there. But if we can show that people are leaving the left because the left has just gone completely fucking insane, you know, that's
the old saying. I didn't leave the Democratic Party left me.
Yep. All right, I gotta get my charging cord over here, or it's gonna disconnect me.
I tell you, if I do these shows again this early in the morning, I'm gonna have to fix my lighting. Probably put the overhead on. Mike's over there all illuminated great because I think he's got a fluorescent light above him.
Yeah,
he's talking about how you got such great lighting there, Mike, and I ain't got crap. And Cora's an hour ahead of me, so she's got all that natural sunlight. Same with Chris, and I'm over here out in the dark.
I'm just under a big light.
Yeah.
Well, not big, but
well, it's big enough. It's big enough. I got a desk lamp on a table about a little more than arm's length from me that's shining light towards my face because I got no backlight right now. It's still dark. I'm probably have to get the overhead on and fix my lighting.
We need to get you a ring light.
Oh hell no! With the way my setup is, I wouldn't be able to fit it anywhere and still be able to see the screen. You gotta realize I'm using a giant Roku TV as my computer monitor. Works great, and believe me, it's fun watching movies where they're freaking huge and right in your face. It's almost life size, but it sucks for trying to set things up for a studio. I'm gonna have to figure something out, but I'll get it figured out. But yeah, I wanted to surprise everybody this morning. The look on Cora's face was priceless. It's like, who's that? No, it can't be. It is.
I kept looking, and I thought, who is that? I don't know that guy. Who is that?
Well, you know me now.
I do.
You know me now. Kind of wish Fred was here. You know.
I don't know what's going on with Fred. I haven't heard from him since we did a show on Saturday.
Huh.
He met with Ben, and he came on here and told us a little bit about that. Said that he wouldn't be joining us on Sunday because he was driving home. And
he's probably
I reached
asleep.
out to him. I reached out to him yesterday just to check on him because I still do that. And haven't heard back from him. So hopefully he's doing well and he's made it home safe.
Well, he's done this before. He's been out of contact for a few days, and then he just pops up and he's fine. So I expect that's what's going on. Is he's just trying to disconnect from everything and get some rest. And for the stuff that he has to put up with, more power to him. You know, rub your face in that 600 veneer nylon, mattress or whatever. Just get yourself some sleep. Because we all know he probably doesn't get nearly enough sleep.
I can promise you that I definitely know that he doesn't get enough sleep. I've had conversations with him about some experiences that I can't get into, but I do know that he does suffer from nightmares.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for him, but I've also told him flat out that I'm always here if he needs at any point in time for him or any of you. If you need to call and talk to me, if, you know.
Oh yeah.
That's just.
Fred just needs a soft place to land.
Well,
Yeah.
Fred, I don't think Fred's still feeling things out. I don't think Fred's in the position where he completely trusts yet. And so I think once he gets it through his head and it actually sinks in that, okay, I can trust these people, I think it'll get better. I have to be honest, he's taken some really big steps the last 6 months. But yeah, he's doing better. He is. I still worry about him.
And with some people, trust takes a lot of time. You know, I can already tell just by the way he acts that he doesn't fully trust us. He doesn't get too personal or personable. He kind of keeps people at a bit of arm's length, and I get that. You know, just for some people, they just can't take that step. That's fine. You know, I'm willing to have just a surface level conversation with people. A lot of people joke that, you know, guys can have a complete conversation without saying a word. And a lot of times that's true. And especially if we're talking about something we either, you know, all the guys in the room know really well, they can just point and grunt. And, you know, they can get the job done. But, you know, it also relates to surface level interaction too. You know, two guys that don't know each other go to a bar, you know, they look each other over, you know, they're figuring out by the way they're dressed, what they do, who they are, what kind of a person they are, and they can make those kind of snap judgments very easily. And their bar conversation can be as simple as, you know, pointing to each other's drinks, nodding, holding the drinks up, pointing to the TV, nodding, you know, and that's a very surface level conversation for guys. And then when guys start talking to each other just about the average stuff, we tend to compartmentalize, a lot of us, not all of us, but a lot of us. My stepdad was very good at this. He had a very public facing persona, and then he had his very private persona. And you could always tell the difference just in the tone of voice that he used. And, you know, a lot of the time, you know, when we see Fred, when you guys see Fred, you get to see him, you know, a little more personal than when I do. It's the only time I get to see him is here.
Oh. I don't know. That one day he was pretty comfortable.
Yeah, I thought there was a tarantula on his chest. But that's a bit of arm's reach too. That's what you call shock and awe. And some people, you know, not just guys, but some people will do that to be like, you know, this is me being shocking. Are you still cool? Are we still okay?
Did you see that girl in the Charlie Kirk video that pulled her tit out right in the camera? She was trying to get his YouTube channel banned.
I'm sorry, guys. If you're waiting for that from me, you're going to have a long wait.
I'm out of here.
Sorry, Corey, you're too old for me.
I know.
Not interested.
Damn it.
Not interested.
Oh my.
And I don't want to see yours either, Chris.
They've already seen mine.
Oh.
I did a video.
Seen your ass crack.
Yeah.
Oh. But I am the sort of person that if I trust you enough to show you my face over the internet, you get what you get. This is me. I don't put on airs. I don't have a public persona and a private persona. You get what you get. So either you like me or you hate me, but I'm not going to play pretend.
I get that.
Yeah. Well, you guys are all older than me. I'm literally the youngest person in the room, which is a huge switch. Which is a huge switch because usually I'm the oldest person in the room. But as I have said to,
I'm only 24. I'm only 24.
Maybe in dog years.
do it.
But I have said to many of the younger people that I am around, kids in their 20s, maybe some in their early 30s, I'm too old to give a shit. I'm too old to give a shit anymore about putting on airs and trying to impress people. You get what you get when you get me. I don't. I'm an honest person. I try to keep my promises. But when we get to talking, unless I am in an environment where the rules prevent me from doing so, I don't have a filter. And I'm trying to stay just on the good side of YouTube because I know for a fact that YouTube is got to be watching us. Right? Do we ban this sucker or what? So I'm trying to stay just on the good side of YouTube, but I know roughly where the boundaries are because I interact with some YouTube personalities. I can't say who. I won't discuss that on camera, just to preserve their privacy. But what you see is what you get. I ain't going to pretend to be something I'm not, and I'm not going to try and put on this public persona because I ain't running for office. I'm not trying to get your vote. I am presenting myself as a human being, and this is who I am. Take it or leave it. You don't like it, fine.
Have a good day, Phil.
Take care, Phil.
Later, Phil.
Oh yeah, boats. There's another one that I was kind of hoping to be on today, just to shock him.
Well, I can try and get him on here. Let me go get some magic words in Discord.
Lo and behold, the satellite member who isn't committed to quite doing anything at this point, putting his face out there. What could be going on? But like I said at the very beginning, I already promised that when I get things settled in my life, that I'm going to be a part of this. I made that promise to Chris months ago, and I intend to uphold that promise. It's just, like I said, when I make a promise, I try to keep that promise. The only thing that has stopped me from keeping that promise is physical inability to do so. Either the law says I can't, and people are watching, or I am, somehow physically unable to do it. Either I'm in jail, I'm not physically strong enough, or I'm dead. And even if I'm dead, I'm going to try my hardest to keep that promise if I can. There's different levels of dead. There's dead, and then there's graveyard dead.
That's the one shirt I bought from Dan Bongino. Don't get dead.
Speaking of
radio silence.
Yeah. Must be.
Oh, they're talking about Boats' ass in chat.
Oh. Yeah, they are over there, aren't they? Naughty, naughty. Don't do that.
I said the magic words in his text message. I told him to get his hairy ass on the live stream. I don't know. It worked. It got him into a conversation the other day on Discord. So
Andrea is over there flirting with Jamie. Well.
I need more coffee. Oh, hell.
I had a special mug made up for Cal a while back. And, yeah. I remember him being pretty happy when he got it.
Oh yeah. It's sitting on display somewhere. I won't say where, but it's nowhere near my physical location at this moment.
I'm getting feedback from somebody.
I am too.
How loud's your TV, Cal? Is your TV turned up a little bit, bud?
It might be me, yeah. Hold on, let me juncture everything through my headphones.
Good morning, Bruce. How you doing? we've got Canada in the house. Eh?
Did Moose show up?
It's not me.
No.
I just switched everything over to my headphones, and I'm still getting feedback.
Huh. No, Ruth popped in.
Oh, Ruth. Morning, Ruth. Let me go out and come back in. I'll be back.
Okay. It's gone now. Oh, nope, now it's back. Huh.
Mike, I think it's you.
What's that?
Might be. Are you using a tool mic or something?
Headphones.
Oh, I bet it's where.
That's better.
Any better?
Yes, sir. Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm not
Is
trying
it?
to be a prick, but I'm just trying to get to the bottom. Yeah, I don't know. I think it was where it was maybe you're touching your sweatshirt. It was causing some kind of static.
Yeah.
Oh, got you. Huh.
Yeah, that's what was doing it.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you, bud. I appreciate it.
Well, I didn't know my headphones had a mic in them.
Yeah, most of them do now.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cheap, old ones. They're Sony. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, it's fixed now, so.
We're good.
Yeah, Andrea, Jamie was in the Air Force.
Or as boats would call them, the chair force.
Well, Jamie did admin work in the Air Force. It's no less valuable than anybody else that puts on a uniform. Every job is important.
Who was it that posted that the Air Force has to make sure they're actually in the right size chairs and report chair accidents? Somebody posted a meme about that. I forget, but I found it kind of funny.
Well, you know how the VA works. Nothing that happens to you is service related. So if they have a chair accident while they're sitting and, directing drones or whatever, that could be pretty serious. I mean, talking possible long-term damage if your chair collapses. And there were a few cases back in the early 2000s of certain hydraulic chairs basically exploding because, great Chinesium quality in the manufacture, and one poor soul actually died because part of the piston was fired straight up through his body.
Oh, ouch.
Damn, that makes my butthole pucker right there.
Oh, yeah, and I'm sitting on a chair just like that right now. I probably should invest in a metal plate for my bottom or a Kevlar vest. But, it was just something that happened and it was fixed. We haven't had any chair explosion incidents since, but it was a thing there for a little while, about 2001 to about 2003, maybe a little later, because I remember seeing it on my early days on 4chan. See, that's one thing that sets me apart from all of you guys is that I was immersed in internet culture and I can make references to things that you guys have no idea about. But that also gives me a very unique perspective into the dark hearts of men. Having been on 4chan for as long as I was, I can tell you what the real counterculture types have always been thinking and how they think, because I was among them. And I have done things that I cannot admit to on camera. Nothing illegal. I always stayed on the good side of the law. But I did some, fifth column work back in the day to strike back at the unelected bureaucracy, let's say, among other things. And, I basically made a job of pissing people off. And I was very good at it. I was very good at it. And I always have been very good at it.
Thomas says chair post in the ass is real.
Yeah, it was. And, when I was on 4chan, that would make the rounds every now and again as a joke. Basically, I hope this happens to you. Or has your chair exploded up into your butt yet? You sound like you got a redwood up there or something. It was dark humor, very dark humor. But that's the one. That's really one of the one major assets that I have is I know those kinds of people. I know what they are like. They're not as scary as a lot of people make them out to be unless you piss them off. And guess what? A lot of them are really, really pissed off at Kamala Harris and Tim Walz because, they don't like certain types of people. They don't like the kind of people that are going to take away, certain luxuries that they have become accustomed to. They don't like people that touch kids. They don't like people that espouse outright communism.
Shit, the animal.
Yeah, that too. Oh my God, the hatred that they have for Fauci is just, it is off the charts. It is absolutely off the charts. And they have been doing their level best to bring out, the whole Beagle situation. That started on 4chan during the pandemic, as somebody brought that up. And
have a great day, Lori. Be safe, and hopefully the appointment goes well.
Bye, Lori.
Yeah, Lori.
That came out on 4chan first before the mainstream people got their hands on it. So a lot of those internet operatives, those chairborne commandos, they make a bigger impact than a lot of people realize. And
I know they do.
And more or less, they're not exactly on our side. They're on their own side, and they're looking out for them. It's just that we have a lot of goals in common. And a lot of them are starting to get infected with RFK's Make America Healthy Again, which is something I have enjoyed seeing because, a lot of these people spend a lot of time on the computer. They probably don't eat very healthy. And they think, I don't really have a path forward to anything resembling good health. Why should I even bother? And then you look at RFK, and despite the brain worm incident, the man is freaking ripped.
They need to ban corn syrup.
Well, among other things, yeah. But you look at RFK, and the man is ripped at his age, despite the crap that he's gone through, and it gives some of them a little bit of hope. Like, hey, you know what? If RFK can do it, maybe I can just make a few healthier choices in my life. And I've seen that start to happen. And the very fact that RFK came aboard Trump's now unity ticket, it has had an effect on the certain forces in the background that are kind of working with us. And I have seen a change in at least some of them. They're like, well, maybe I should cut the ramen out. Maybe I should stop drinking so much soda.
Ramen's horrible for you.
Oh yeah,
People don't realize that.
Especially the really cheap crap.
And if you have diabetes,
yeah, it's all carbs. It's just 100% carbs, and we're lucky it's not styrofoam these days. It's made in China. But just seeing these people are trying to turn it around in their own lives, even just small baby steps, that's something. Because when you have a healthy body, you get a healthier mind. And it's all about, good in, good out. If you eat good and you work good and you try to do good things, eventually you become a much more positive person. Cora and Chris, you guys, and Mike to an extent, you guys kind of know me. I'm usually a fairly positive person. Or at least I try to be.
Until they fuck with your pizza.
Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started. Okay? Then you don't get in trouble. But I'm a positive person. I exude positiveness because I refuse to let, shit get in my way. I refuse to, pardon my cursing, but there goes your monetization.
Hello?
There goes your monetization. Oh, noes. I said an S-bomb. Oh,
I don't
goodness.
have monetization anyway. They'll never monetize me, bud.
Oh, yeah, I know. But no, I just don't let crap affect me. I look at all the crap that's going on. And, there would be people out there that are like, oh, my family betrayed me. They stole my car. And they would feel absolutely horrible about it. And they would just be absolutely dejected. They want to crawl under their bed and die. You know what? Yeah. I'm not them. So I can't say, you shouldn't feel that way because there are going to be a lot of people that do. What I say instead is, yeah, okay, it happened to you. Now let's take some steps to move forward from this. Look at the bright side of things. Did you really like that car? Wasn't that car giving you a lot of trouble? What are the payments on it? What was your insurance? All that sort of thing. Now, if you had insurance on it, which I didn't, you get a big fat check from the insurance company, and you can invest in something that's maybe a little more economical, maybe a little more fitting your budget. Or now, if you really hated that car, you can get something you actually like. Always look at the bright side of things. Try to uplift yourself, and then through that, you uplift everybody else. Just to touch on religion for a second. Everybody kind of knows that I'm Christian, but I don't discriminate against people of other faiths. I say take the positive parts of your faith and use that to uplift yourself and uplift those around you. Because we look at like, well, Buddhists, Taoists, they don't have any beef with us at all, and they're all about finding inner peace and stuff. And yes, I'm going to be one of those that says not all Muslims, because there are some very sectarian Muslims that are like, why in the hell are we fighting? Why can't we just, we'll go over here and not eat pork and, just do our thing. You go over there and you do your thing. And, if we can get together and mow the lawns and keep the streets clean, shouldn't that just be the end of it? The truly sectarian Muslims, and they are, if you look at certain polls, they are a minority, but they're growing. The westernization of the Islamic religion is something that the Islamists are very, 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 very defensive about. They don't like it. And this is something that, not just Western culture, but more specifically American culture has done, is a lot of Muslims that have come over here. Not all of them, but some of them have taken a look at how wonderful it can be to be an American and to have all this capitalist convenience around them. And they're like, maybe I was too harsh. Maybe I shouldn't,
Maybe I don't want to date a goat anymore.
Yeah. They're getting Americanized. They're enjoying themselves. Yes, they will still worship Allah, and they will still, read the Quran, and that's fine. But they become more peaceful as they do so, because they're like, I don't want to start shit with my neighbors. John's cool. He fixed my lawnmower. Why do I hate these? Why was I taught to hate these people? And in a lot of, the walk away stuff that you were talking about, a lot of that is happening in Islamic culture too. And they don't want to talk about it because, oh, goodness sakes, if they should start truly getting some truly sectarian and influential imams because of how decentralized their religion is, that could spell doom for the regimes that use the Islamic faith as a tool, not just to repress their people, but to focus their hatred, focus their attention on something else. It's not your own government that's screwing you over. You're being repressed by Jews and Christians. Hate them. Don't hate us. Don't hate us. We're not the ones screwing everything up for you. It's them. If they just thought exactly like us and did everything exactly our way, you wouldn't be having these problems. At least that's what we're telling you. You better believe it. And it is exactly the same placebo pill that was given out by the Soviet Union. It's given out by communist China. Every despotic regime uses something to keep their people under control and to keep them afraid and angry. Every despotic regime does that. Every single one.
Oh, what's your name?
Well, it's their way of deflecting blame from themselves, deflecting attention from themselves. And once they control the media and the flow of information, that's it. The people aren't getting an alternative view. And Iran has had some huge issues trying to keep sectarianism and secularism under control. And because Iran used to be a very, very liberal country. You had women going to college. You had, beautiful universities all before the fall of the Shah. And it was on track to be probably the most liberal Muslim nation out there before the Ayatollahs took over.
Ruth said, that's it. Most of it is passed down ideas, not figuring it out for the individual. Speaking about
exactly.
Arab thing.
And now that Islamists and Arabics and whatever label you want to ascribe
and a lot
to
of that,
some of them,
you can apply a lot of that to the Democrat Party too. Most kids vote Democrat are told to vote Democrat from their families growing up.
Yeah, just
so
like
it's
a lot
the
of
passed down ideas.
Yeah. And then, when they get out of that environment, some of them are smart enough to wake up and say, hey, you know what? Why was I taught this? Why was I indoctrinated into this? It turns out it's not the truth. I've come over here to America. You talk to an ex-communist from, an ardent ex-communist from the Soviet Union or the People's Republic of China. They come over here and they see, we're not eating birds and having heroin Tuesdays and crap like that, like North Korea's propaganda tells us.
That's
hey,
what I'm thinking about. There's a girl that came over from North Korea. I think her last name is Pak.
Yeah.
That tells she's telling people the story of how, when she was a little girl, how Kim Jong-un's father came to power by coming to them and saying, "Hey, it's not fair that some people have land and some people don't, and some, you want your kids to go to school but they can't because you can't afford it." And he promised them that, if they voted him in, that he would fix all their problems and they'd all get free education and all this. And she said they did exactly what he wanted, and he fucked them over in the end. Because now look at them. People are starving.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
Yeah, it's all bad. It's all bad. But this has always been one of the good things about American culture is that when people actually come over here, when the haters actually come over here and stop the hate for a second and just take a look around, they realize what it really means on the pleasure side of being an American. We can go to the store and, get whatever the hell we want. Yes, right now it's very expensive, but we can get it wherever the hell we want. We can get, freaking soda and chips and whatever the hell else that's absolutely horrible for us. Or we can get health food, or we can get, fresh, organic grown, whatever the hell, wheat germ. And we can either be absolute hippies or absolute degenerates when it comes to stuffing our faces with the worst possible stuff. They look at, the freedom that we have of just, going to a park on the weekends, not having to worry about this or that, And when they get over here and they realize what the pleasures of being in a quote unquote free society really are, a lot of them, if they can shut the hate off in their brains for 5 minutes and just look around and take a deep breath, a lot of them realize, hey, you know what? Things can be better. I could make a better life for myself, for my kids. I could make the country better. I could make, my neighborhood better. Which is why, even though we have a lot of truly hardcore Muslims, I say, well, yeah, they're the violent ones right now, but we've had, very hardcore, just about everybody. Every major religion has had its hardcore period where they're like, you know what? We're just going to go and kill everybody that doesn't think like us. Or we're going to, hang them from trees or whatever. They've all had their hardcore period. And from that has germinated small movements within each religion. Some of them grew, some of them didn't. That have been like, no, this is stupid. Well, there you go, Ruth. Yeah, you're Jewish. And the assumption that I would be on the Israeli side, I've heard way too much. My background has nothing to do with Israel. Yeah. You are an individual. You are not the labels that are applied to you. And the people that can wake up and realize this and realize that they can make their own decisions, they tend to trend towards the, hey, you know what? Let's just be a good neighbor. My buddy over there, he broke his leg the other week. I'll go mow his lawn for him. And in return, maybe his wife bakes me cookies. Cookie diplomacy, as I like to call it. and people they chill out. Is what happens. They chill out, and as they chill out, they become decent human beings. And you can take a look at all the despotic regimes in the past and the people who have been thoroughly indoctrinated into that one point of view, and they get free and they change over, and then they serve as a warning to others. Don't become like we did. And they will go back even to their own countrymen and say, hey, you know what? This place isn't as bad as you think it is. No, I haven't been brainwashed by them. You're the one that's been brainwashed. You're the one that needs to put down the hate pipe for a second, pick up the peace pipe, come over here and enjoy yourself. Go to the beach. Go to the beach. Take a look at all those beautiful women out there. They aren't there for no reason. Go to the park. Look at all the happy people there. Go to a supermarket. Look at all the stuff that they can get. Horribly unhealthy or horribly healthy. You can either eat basically, the equivalent of cardboard and air and water, or you can eat the most delicious stuff that'll give you a heart attack and kill you by the time you're 35. But we have the freedom to choose. We have the freedom to make these choices in our life. We have the freedom to go or not go to church. We have the freedom to vote for who we want to, whether or not the vote actually matters. That's come into question lately. Yeah. But we have the freedom to at least make the attempt. And once they get a real taste of that, they chill out. A lot of them do. The ones that can shut off the hate tend to chill out. And that's why I've always said, if you really want to come over here and make an honest attempt at being an American, come on over. Do it legally, but come on over. The ones that are being shipped in lately that have decided that cats and dogs look extra tasty, obviously, they need to be removed because they're not going to change. They were brought in here as invaders, and they are, as somebody pointed out. It was pointed out on a couple of different places, but the imports that we are getting from foreign countries of the human variety, they are not here. They are here, yes, to shift the vote in favor of certain people, but the other reason they're here is that they're functioning more or less as a form of secret police. How are they being used as secret police when they don't have any policing powers? Well, they're being shown very quickly what crimes they can and cannot commit. And a lot of the crimes that they're not being punished for inflict terror on the native population. That's the entire point. Or at least part of the point. There's a lot of reasons why they're bringing these people in. There's a stacks of reasons. And got to hand it to the enemy on this one. They have thought this through. And they're using them as a weapon against us. They're inflicting terror on us. And that has always been one of the jobs of a secret police force in the early days of a despotic regime, is to cow everybody into submission through terror. You don't know if it was the Soviet Union, you don't know if in 5 minutes, your door's going to get kicked in and, the Cheka are going to come in and drag you out and shoot you for not being communist enough. And equally over here, you don't know if somebody's going to jump your fence and eat your chihuahua because you happen to live in a place that happens to be stocked with people that are against the regime. You're not being of the regime enough. You're not following their edicts. You're not living in the places they want you to live. Maybe if you lived in one of the areas that they have set aside, that has, yes, they still have these people, but they're more or less kind of under control, like New York City, and to some extent Chicago. I will say something about that in a minute. If you follow the edicts of the ruling class, maybe your chihuahua wouldn't be on a roast right now, a roast spit, getting cooked for all the street to smell with all those wonderful 17 herbs and spices. And that's one of the reasons why they're being brought over, specifically the Haitians, because they will be so out of pocket. They will do such horrific things. They're there to scare people. Do what we say, or else you could be next. Not just your pets, but you. Because, if you know anything about the Haitians, you know that they do resort to cannibalism. Some are a little more eager to do it than others. I was going to mention Chicago. Word on the ground is that the Chicago street gangs and what is left of the Chicago outfit, they don't like these new imports very much. And one of the things about Chicago has always been, I grew up there. Guess what? It's basically it was always a corrupt crime state. It was a kleptocracy, not a democracy, a kleptocracy. It was run by the criminals. It used to be run by the Chicago outfit. I won't get into why, because that's going to, ask you to put on your tinfoil hat. But they were removed. A lot of their people in power were removed over the last 16 years or so, 20 years or so. It started about 2008-ish. And the real turning point was when Richard Daley was forced out of office for Rahm Emanuel originally. I won't say who was behind all that, but I think we can figure it out. I'm drawing a picture here This is just like win, lose, or draw. I think you should be able to call out who it was at this point. But the Chicago machine was essentially destroyed. A lot of the middle management people were given basically buyout options. Take retirement, go to Florida, or retire to the suburbs, whatever. Just get out. Just leave. Move on. And bad things won't happen to you. And the Chicago outfit had become so comfortable with their position that they were like, we're not used to being at the other end of the power spectrum. I think we will just leave. And the Chicago machine has essentially been destroyed. And believe it or not, even though they were technically Democrat, and technically old school Democrat, they were more or less kind of on the side of the common man, in the sense that they knew that extremely high levels of street crime, too much corruption, and all that was bad for business, because at the end of the day, they're businessmen. They just happen to do a business that is not legal. So when 2008 and 2013 rolled around and they started getting forced out, they just kind of took it, because they were caught over a barrel. And somebody made sure that they no longer had power and influence anymore. And then once they were removed, the street gangs kind of took over to a large extent. And the smaller groups that the Chicago outfit had kind of coalesced around them in some kind of a loose alliance. That alliance fractured and fragmented. And it just kind of was a state of Cold War, the usual beefs over territory, women, drugs, whatever. They started to become a little more violent, and then it just got worse and worse and worse. And now we've got all of these recent imports coming to Chicago, and now a lot of these groups are waking up and realizing why the Chicago machine is no longer a giant roaring steam engine, but a tiny little putt-putt now. That they were an obstacle to this, and they had to be removed, just like they were warning about. And now that they are removed, there's no filter between these recent imports and the evil that they do and the streets. The Chicago machine would have never permitted anything like this to happen, because it was bad for business. And they can't make money if money isn't flowing. So, and now the remaining gangs and groups in Chicago are kind of coming together, and they haven't gone to the point of declaring war on the incoming immigrant gangs yet, but let's just say that war councils are forming, plans are being made. I have no idea what those are, but I know that the machine is starting to move again. It's not the same machine, it is a new machine, but it is starting to move again, because they're realizing, you know what? We can't let things keep going this way. If we do, we're not going to have anything left. We're not going to have people giving us money. It's going to go to these guys instead. And these guys, well, not to put too fine a point on it, they're not American. And the Italian mob has always seen themselves as Americans first, and mobsters second. That's why during World War II, they were more than willing to make deals with naval intelligence to keep infiltrators away from shipyards and stuff, just in exchange for a freer hand to do what they wanted to do, criminally. We want to run some girls. We want to run a gambling house. We want to run a tax-free liquor establishment. They will go ahead. Just keep the infiltrators out of the shipyards. If any of your boys know about anybody trying to get a German submarine too close to the shore, let us know about it. And there was a lot of back and forth, but it was because the various Italian mafias were like, we're American first, and we are making money. We've got to protect that. And if those guys over in Europe take over, we're not going to get that money, because Mussolini especially made himself an enemy of the mob, because he tried to break the mob in Sicily because he hated them. He had a visceral hatred towards Sicilians. And he saw the mafia as a Sicilian thing, so he wanted to break it. And welcome back, Chris. And
Thank
so
you.
he made himself an enemy of the mob. And a certain man with a very specific type of mustache also made himself an enemy of the mob by saying he wanted to clean things up. The only nasty business that should be going on is him and his regime, and his take on the tenets of fascism, which is a combination of commerce and state. He wanted to be the only game in town when it came to that sort of thing. So the mafia didn't like him either. They realized that if those guys managed to take over or people like them, they're not going to have money anymore, and they're going to be in jail. So that's why they, when naval intelligence came to them during World War II and said, "Hey, you know what? We want to work out a deal," they were more than willing to take that deal because it was good for them, and what's good for them is good for a lot of other people. Because the mafia may be dirty as hell, and they may be running. Back in the day, they used to run unions and stuff, but the people that were underneath them, the people that were close to the bottom, they were honest, hardworking people that just happened to be, kind of coached or assisted, or they had the mob's hand right behind them, but they were good, honest, hardworking people that just trying to get a paycheck. Yeah, okay, some of that paycheck is going to be spent in a mob liquor place, or maybe get a girl, or maybe do a little card playing, a little shoot the dice, or whatever. But they were still honest and good, regular people. And the mafia always recognized that was their source of income. And
we must watch a lot of the same stuff, because I just saw that video too.
Chris, you and I have always had brain waves that just kind of match, like we were brothers separated at birth or some shit, or at least distant third cousins twice removed. No, we've always had that problem. We start talking about something and we both realize we're talking about exactly the same thing in two different ways.
Yep.
And we're both approaching the problem from two different directions. But we're both
which works a lot of times, because then you get to the answer faster. But yeah.
It is 8 o'clock over here.
Yeah,
I was about to say it's getting towards quitting time. I got to go get myself something to eat. I've been awake all this time. I'm hungry. I got to go get
any spaghetti yet?
I have bacon.
Yeah, she had bacon. I'm gonna make something, but I got to take my dog out because he's now over here doing the pee-pee dance because I didn't take him out first thing. And my cats are right outside my door. I can hear them. They want their wet food because they get some wet food every morning. I spoil my babies. So yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah, I was about to say maybe we ought to move along.
But hey, thanks for hanging out with us, Cal. We appreciate it, bud.
Nice seeing you, Cal.
This won't be the last time.
Well, that's good. Thank you, Cora, for hanging out.
Anytime, bud. You know where to find me.
Yes, sir. We will see you at 4 o'clock.
Toodles, everyone. Stay blessed.
Stay blessed, everyone.
Be safe, everyone. All right. Peace, y'all. Be safe. Have a great day. And thanks for being here. Remember, you're loved by many, not just by me. There's other people that love you. And take care of yourselves, okay? All right. Be safe.